Your faithful giving makes it possible for all of Westside's ministries to equip families, reach communities, and share God's love around the world. Thank you.
One day, when I read the book of Acts, chapter 16, verse 6, that's the time that I feel like the Holy Spirit spoke to my heart, deeply in my heart. It is the right time to bring the gospel to Asia.
Years ago, a small team from Westside came here to the great nation of Thailand, and they gathered with some indigenous leaders who had a dream of reaching their nation, of seeing a movement of new disciples of Jesus who would care for the physical and spiritual orphan. And out of that gathering, that dream has begun to be realized.
We're experiencing miracles very much like what you find in the first parts of the New Testament, where people are getting first contact with the gospel and miracles are happening.
From that short time of training, a movement has spilled out of that room, and over the last 3 years, get this, there's more than 130 new churches. Over 6,000 men and women and boys and girls have been baptized. Hundreds of orphans are being cared for. This literally sounds like a story ripped out of the pages of Acts, and it's happening right here, right now. And guess what? At this very moment, this story is going to a whole new level.
One of these particular stories that we've heard from one of the villages is a particular witch doctor who was being oppressed by the very demon that he was using to oppress everyone else.
And one day, the evil spirit spoke to him, "No one can help you, no one can free you, only Jesus." We couldn't believe that the evil spirit will talk to him like that.
And he had heard that there were people that were reaching villages telling him about Jesus. And so he invited Pastor Sam Suk to come and tell him and the village about Jesus.
And then he accepted Christ.
And a little bit later, his whole family came to know Jesus. And a week later, the entire village came to know Jesus.
We couldn't believe that the Holy Spirit is working and he has the power over the demonic, over the evil spirit on that village.
One of the ways that they symbolize their allegiance to the particular demon that they serve is they have these little white bracelets that bind them to that particular demon.
They are living by fear of the demonic, fear of everything, because they cannot imagine what will happen to them. But when they heard about the gospel, we said Jesus never want anything from them, but only Jesus want to set them free.
And so they have this huge ceremony where they begin to cut off all of the bracelets to symbolize their freedom, not only from sin and death and hell, but freedom from the very demon that they served.
Westside is helping the best and the brightest in this movement to be equipped, to be trainers and coaches. In other words, there's a movement that's already gone to multiplication. We have disciples who are making disciples. We have churches that are planting churches. But now we're going to put a multiplication sign behind the multiplication.
When we are training our team in Luang Prabang, is a woman, she carry her son. "I want you to pray for my son because my son, he couldn't walk."
And so it's like, okay, let's do this. We'll just trust, just like in the book of Acts, just like in the Bible, and we will pray.
I asked this woman, "Are you really believe that Jesus can free your son?" She said yes. And I explained something to her about how the power of the Holy Spirit is going to work. She said, I never have the Bible education. I have no idea about Christianity. But one thing that I know, God can free my son.
And so when he prayed, he sensed the power of God in that prayer, and the boy began to walk.
ไม่ต้องอุ้มจับแขนเขาแล้วให้ค่อยๆเขาเดินนั่นแหละ
We praise God because that is the evidence that the Holy Spirit still working with us. I feel like this is the right time for the Western people, for Westside Family Church, for everyone who hear this. You have to rise up and pray for the gospel to impact life people in Southeast Asia.
Those types of miracles happen because of the trainings that we here at Westside, you allow us to do those sorts of things, to bring the gospel to places where they've never heard it before and are desperately asking for it and need it like we can't even imagine.
And it's happening right here and right now because the people of Westside have said yes to Jesus, because the people of Westside have said, God, use us to reach the physical and spiritual orphan. And it's happening, and it's amazing.
Keep pray for us for the next step or next training. Thank you very much.
You make these blessings possible through your generosity. Thank you.